Hey, boom or bust for Sculpt Games economics. We are in February and we have a lease here until March, April, May, and then June 2nd it's up. So we are down to the count and we're just kind of going to do a little bit of business plan review, talking about what's happened in our first year and some of our moving strategies. So when you're looking around, I'm pretty happy with our product per square foot. We got lots of board games. We still stock over 400 board games. Even after Black Friday and Christmas season, we decided to keep the stock numbers because board game categories, our category sales on that has been number 2, number 3, or number 4 the last 3 months, which is really good. So it's something we're going to continue to develop. I think it's kind of our special sauce in our area is that we have the biggest board game selection for a long time. So that's something we'll continue to do. And that's actually when we look to sign on the place we're going for, we need enough square footage to take care of this stuff. So another thing we want to do, we want to stock out more on puzzles. So we set up this demo table, and it's an X-Wing demo table, right? But it fits a puzzle pretty well. And one thing a puzzle table does is it gives people something to put their hands on. It helps us sell some puzzle product maybe. But let's say grandma's in here shopping with her 18-year-old son, and the 18-year-old son or grandson really wants to browse the Magic singles or really wants to talk for a while. It gives her something to do that's productive, and it makes our place more guest-friendly to have this puzzle demo table. So I'm hoping to get enough square footage that I can actually expand this puzzle section. I mean, it might be ambitious, but I'd like to have 1,000 different puzzles. We'll see. But I think we could become a puzzler location, that we can be the local destination for people who puzzle. There's a lot of benefits to puzzles. We've done real well with our kids game section, which you see over here. And I think if we can target the audience that comes in and buys from the kids section, if families are building brains with games, we can sell families puzzles. We can sell grandma puzzles. We can sell mom puzzles. We can sell Uncle Larry puzzles. We can sell the kids puzzles. I think it's going to fit. We have a pretty family-friendly atmosphere when we say Sculpt Games or Games Build Brains, and I think puzzles will fit well. But they take a lot of square footage, and I'm not selling a puzzle a day, right? The turn rate's going to be a little lower. So I'll need a lot of shelf space and a demo area for the puzzles. Now, another risk that we made in our square footage here is our gaming tables. And we have 4 gaming tables at the regular. Sometimes we slide them together for Warhammer or other miniature games, which means we get 2 tables over here, maybe a 3rd table here. Now we can't push our gondolas back, so things like Magic pre-release day, we end up with about 6 tables. We could put a table here instead of the demo. We could put a little table there, so then we're talking 4x4. One of the things I'd like to target for our next location is that we have enough space to put in a higher adjustable table maybe, but a 4-foot by 8-foot table, at least one for the miniatures crowd, would be really good. So come on over here a little bit. Some of the things we've stocked out on in our process, we actually ended up with tons of miniatures. We have a pretty big miniatures selection. So at one point I spent 4 figures on miniatures, right? Just miniatures. And this made a selection that wasn't in the local area. It started to draw, our D&D group started growing, our miniatures group started growing, and that's been a positive thing for us. Now, over here, I want to show you another change we've made recently. We like to use our counter space to make things touchable because I firmly believe that the ability to touch increases the sell-through rate of a product. So we have booster packs where you can pull them out and touch them. Okay, now this makes it easier to access. We wouldn't want this just anywhere in our store, but at our counter, it feels like we're going to increase our sell-through rate and we're not going to have much shrinkage. Shrinkage means damage, loss, that kind of thing. This seems pretty safe. Now, another nice thing this does for our counter is it elevates the stuff we put on top of it and it makes what's below it visible. Because down here, it's clear plastic. So we're actually increasing the visibility of our counter. We're increasing the touchability and hopefully sell-through rate of our booster packs. We can still get you booster packs from back there, but you can see most of the stuff we have in stock over here, and hopefully our sell-through rate is helped by that. Now, another decision we have to make in the next couple of months is what we're going to do with these cases. So I thought about selling these cases for a while. Maybe I will, maybe I won't, but in these cases we have our singles. And when we talk about sell-through rates, singles are important. Now, our standard case is actually, it's been hard to stock lately. we're running out of singles for standard. And that's a good thing. Like if my sell-through rate is high on the cases, I'm happy to keep them. If my sell-through rate is low, then I run the risk of, if I put it in my case, is it going to get reprinted and the value lowered before I sell it? If my case has a low enough sell-through rate that I lose value on my cards, cases aren't attractive. If I have a big enough local player base that cares about supporting local and is willing to pay sales tax in Great Bend to support our roads, our police, all those sorts of things that sales tax builds, then these cases are useful. So this is one of, we're probably keeping them for the next one. That thing, the cash wrap over there, it's like 1,000 pounds. It's pretty hard to move. Cases are a little easier to move. Now, another thing we've done in our last couple months is, I think Dayton has worked for us 1.5 months. We're in his second month, and that's allowed us a couple extra options. So here's one of my most recent purchases. It is an entire box of boxes. In fact, this is the 2017 gift pack. So we've actually experimented a little bit more in purchases from distributors that are larger. I was able to get 50 cases of Commander 2017, and I wish I would have pulled the trigger on twice that because they sold out by the time they came here. The thing was, I ordered, and I was like, well, I need to figure out how much physical space I have, so I'll get back to you. And then by the time I got back to them, because I figured out how much space, they were completely sold out at pretty much every distributor. So we have 50 of them. We'll have them in stock for a while. But you know, there's a cost-benefit analysis to stocking up on things like that. Cost-benefit analysis to stocking up on things like this. Even if I break it down, I got to do a math equation on my labor, my sell-through rate, the damage frequency of pulling these cards out. There's a lot to think about. So these are kind of experiments that having an employee allows me to do. We'll see how it goes. I might be spinning my gears in the mud, but so far it seems okay. Another nice thing that having an employee has allowed us is that our eBay shipping center is now actually at the store. So we can print our labels here, we have our shipping supplies here, and we have our stock here. But I did the most organizing on that system, and then somebody else inherited it. So he's actually organized a system lately by himself, so he'll have a little more ownership in being able to find it. But it's really nice that my guest room is freed up, and I don't necessarily have to do eBay every night at home after putting the kids to bed. But space is a tight factor. Come back here and I'll show you this. So we got our Warhammer stuff. Warhammer's been doing real good for us. And then our back is kind of a mess, so don't judge me by this. But back here, this section is employees only, so not too many people get to see this. But when you come back here, this is what's left of our War Machine stock. So if you're a Boomer Bust fan, you saw the $5,000 purchase that started all this, where we got over $20,000 MSRP of War Machine. We made a secondary purchase soon after. You know, here and there, there's been little purchases. But this is all we got left. And the thing is, in this tight space, like I'm moving around, there's chairs. Anybody needs some bubble wrap in Great Bend? I got some for you. Here's our shipping supplies. Like we got envelopes, we have stamps, we have printed labels. But my guy, Dayton, he has to come back here with a smartphone that shows him what item he's grabbing. He's got to grab the item, grab the right envelope, go weigh it behind the counter, print the label, ship it off. And what we got to do is we got to take our cost of those goods. We got to take the price we can sell at on eBay. We got to take out the fee formula. Then we got to take out our shipping amount. And then what we're left with, we put our cost of operations into. And I got to be able to find how much it costs me in real money to have an employee per hour. And then I got to subtract how much time it takes him from that and get a ratio of his hourly rate versus his speed at that. And then I got to put in my cost of operation for the lights, for the, the shipping materials, for the rent, and I gotta hope that I'm actually making money at the end. So our business is turning into more and more math. At the beginning, boom and bust was a lot of like, let's roll the dice and see how this goes. And now with our purchases of Commander 2017, of the gift packs, of eBay, and paying someone to do it, we're really trying to make sure our math's lining up. So we're gonna do more and more math on like, how much square footage should I really pay for? Am I willing to over double my overhead to have lots of space and not have any space restraints? That feels hard. Would I be comfortable in about the same overhead and more open space? Am I willing to change location? All those are things that we're trying to look at and do the math so our business can continue to be sustainable without numbers that get wonky because we didn't really know our cost of operations. So this is the first month I was able to, we have almost everything itemized in our point of sale system. So I can look at category sales, I can look at item sales. And actually at the end of the month, I exported all of my item sales. I had the price that I sold it out. I could put in my cost of goods sold. And for the whole month, I actually know the average percentage of my profit margin for my products sold in that month if they were sealed. Now, it's a whole different ballgame if they were singles, but I at least know my sealed product margin for the month of January. So boom or bust, math matters. That's how we're going to boom. That's how we're going to stay sustainable. We will bust if we use bad math in our next lease. We will bust if we use bad math in purchases of 100 of the same product. We will bust if I just go on gut instinct feelings. Math is what's going to drive us. Math will boom us. Excel is my favorite program ever. And hopefully I'm not lying to myself on the math and those are the actual numbers. Thanks for listening. See you around.